if there was any lack of confidence in finishing out the day with the frog, it's completely disappeared at this point. God, it was exciting. I'm still all jacked up. Got a fresh start this morning. Got the best day since we've been here. No W, lots of sun. It's gonna be a spectacular white bite day. But because I think that, we're also gonna try some frogging today. Sawyer's assured me, being that he's like head man, that I'm gonna get a bunch of giants on frogs today. We'll see if he knows what he's talking about. Where are you from?
From Southwest Montana.
Southwest Montana, that makes 3 of them. Seems like half this place here is from within 100 miles of my house. So we're gonna do our best to hire Sawyer for next year from whoever he works for.
Absolutely.
And we'll see what happens. But I can't wait. This is we're not even naming this river just because it's that special. And we got a dirt bag. Come.
Look at that.
The bag of dirt.
A lot of this river is filled with tons of logs. So, you know, typical brown trout fashion, using logs for cover and current break. It's a pretty small river. You know, some shallow spots that pretty much just dump into really deep holes. And it's always a good spot too.
Thumper.
Bumper?
Thumper. After yesterday, airing these out a mile, now I got to look for something behind me. It's like fishing back home.
Yeah.
Back in Michigan. Live on the Madison, you don't look behind you very often.
What are your thoughts on like getting streamers down, like as far as depth?
I don't think you have to. Now, we didn't have a lot of rivers that would have that big of a hole in Michigan.
Yeah.
But I've never seen a fish deeper than 5 feet. Never. In pools that would be 10 feet deep up here, never there, always right there. Right? They're always on the edge. They're ambushing this thing. They're not waiting like it's some minnow that decided to come down and be pen pals. They're not even waiting for the food so much. They're resting. They're nocturnal feeders, so they're not there to eat necessarily. If they didn't get something to eat, obviously it's even more likely. But if they're not there like a juvenile fish would be, right?
Right.
You get fish 22 to 24, they have almost exclusively become meat eaters. It's really rare. You think of all the great salmon fly hatches, to see a fish 2 foot eat a dry fly.
We might bump here, Kelly, so watch your balance.
It's pretty rare to see.
You'd think with there not being any aerial predators down here that the fish don't really need to get deep anyway.
I don't buy the aerial predator thing either.
What's that?
I don't buy it.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. I live on the Madison. My front window is closer than that log is, and one of the best pools in the river, right? I sit and look down on these, and it's my side channel at the house. It's nothing for me to have 20 fish visible.
Yeah.
Nothing, right? And it's nothing for me to have 5 ospreys crash at in a morning. And the fish, I've seen them come down, bam! Grab one, fly up, and the fish move right back to where they were. They're in this much water.
Yeah.
And they're all like that, right? So I know it's a theory that's out there.
Sure.
But I don't believe trout have cognitive reasoning, or do they ever database thought. They sit, they eat, they do their thing. But I don't believe they have if they had a memory, not one fish would ever go where that fish got ate the time before. Heads up.
Hold on.
Heads up. Get that out of your arm. I gotta fish that thing. Want a cup of coffee with that, sir?
The worst I've ever been hooked was with a sex dungeon by my own mom, right in the back of the head.
There's a lot of story right there we could go through.
She was laughing. I didn't think it was too funny.
Whoa, he's been eating something, boy. Not such a good shot. Sawyer said that there were lampreys in here, which the peanut envy, for those who don't know, started out brown and tan and morphed into all the other colors, but it came about from watching, ironically not in Michigan where there were millions of them, but I was on the Henry's Fork and eating lunch, and it was like a sci-fi movie. They just kept coming out. We were in cardiac stretch below the falls, and we were eating lunch, and they just swam up. There's everywhere, and they were very brown topped and like a chestnut is, and kind of a yellow belly. And so he said they were here, so I put one on. We've been through, started white, like I said earlier, started white and kind of going fast, and then went to another white, bad habit. Then went to olive and got, some eats right away. And that kind of settled down. Then went to green and white, the barely legal. It's kind of a, you always have the same thing when you're doing this. Is it the fly? Is it you? Is it the daytime? Is it whatever it is? But we got pretty much a few on everything, eats or looks, but there's just no serious commitment yet. So it needed something, had a little guy hit it. I mean, anything you can get in local knowledge, obviously, if you've never fished a river. Well, this fly looks, I don't know, it's not swimming quite how I want it to. So I'm grasping now. I'm just trying to find something. You have to go through this mental process to decide, what flies. Like I said, is it you? Is it the fly? I mean, I tend to, and I say it jokingly to a lot of people, it's usually you, but it's usually not choosing the right fly more than anything. Water's not water. It's not just one thing. This is a 10-foot deep pool, barely moving. There's a fish on it. Get it. Oh, how do you like that? And so, and if you saw that, and that's such a classic thing right there. If you watch that little rainbow run out, mouths open. I say it all the time. Mouths open, they're on a food bite. And then the thing got away from him because I pulled it. And then he came right back and he saw it swimming in front of him. And you'll see he's got a face full of it. He was there to eat that. He was not there that was not reactionary bite. That was 100% mouth open. I tell people that all the time. If you see his mouth open, it tells you better be on an earth tone fly. I mean, at least that one. Because he was fully committed. He wasn't scared of anything. Came out straight at the fly, opened his mouth. I kind of pulled it away from him, paused it, spun around in a circle and ate it. Because he's eating.
One.
There's another
nice.
one. Oh, you little dog. Where'd he go? This one's doing the same thing. He's still looking for it. If you notice, he spun downstream. I can't see him. He spun down. He kind of bit it and spun downstream like they do because I think they stunned it. And they go down looking for it. That's all right. It's in the shadow anyway.
Nicer brown trout.
They're getting bigger.
Net for that guy?
Maybe in a minute. I don't know if he's kind of dilly-dallying. I don't know if he's filming or not. I think he might have it under the chin now. Yep.
LDR.
He came out at it. it popped out and I snagged him right under there. Huh? Yeah, they're kind of just taking it jiggy. I think they're just waking up is all.
There we go.
Gotcha. Yeah, they're eating this pure food, man. They, it's like there's a worm hatch or something.
Yep, need to make real life scenarios.
Oh, gotcha that time.
Nice.
Oh, shit. I hope you didn't see that. That thing was running at me. Jesus Christ. I knew I didn't touch him. I mean, I was half-assed. That was a good brown.
That was a good brown. Damn it.
Seems the key to today's success is to be talking about something else. And for some reason, I was looking around to look at you as I was picking up. I tried to get into my left hand on that when I was hand lining. He still had, I mean, I got a pull on it like that when it went by. But when he came up, when I was falling out, I kind of lost all hope. Oh, that's a big one.
Yes.
That's a good one. Get out of there. Get out of there. That's a good one. He ate that thing on the float. Hold on. Oh, he's not as big as I thought he was. Got a great side, though. He's not that big. But he did have a great side. He looks so much bigger. And I tried to net him, trying to keep him away from Braden. There, he's out of here. You want it netted? He wants to film it. You're not gonna do that, are you? What was that?
I don't know. I panicked.
He wasn't letting that go. And 3 ways to Sunday. Letting him go.
Nice job.
This one, get one.
That's right.
It's our day. Good call.
Redeem.
Didn't you say get in that bucket?
Yeah, that's right.
Is that like your first call like that ever?
Yeah,
History?
This is a big moment for me right now.
Me too. Well, everybody knows that every topwater bite's worth 5 underwater bites. So we're doing something that probably hasn't been done down here. We got a nice fish. We had another one. We had a couple more. Kind of the white bites kind of came on for us, and we've got some really good fish. So of course, what you should do is try something nobody's done. We're gonna frog them, see if we can get them to eat topwater. We got this big old fat frog. You know, you're filming a show and you're catching big fish, and you decide, let's try frogging. So we brought frogs, and we're gonna frog them up out of these pools. And one of my guides, what's Nathan's last name? Oh yeah. One of my guides, Nathan Anthony, tied these up for me. Tied them up for the Madison. But I thought, what the hell? Let's go to South America with them. So if we get one, it will be spectacular because it'll be total topwater.
We will be heroes.
We will be heroes. But we will tell no one for a year. So that Sawyer can take all the credit. You don't take your eye off it, that's for sure.
Nope.
You
Entertained.
You're watching the whole time. He came out at it. He's still sitting there. Yeah. Oh, still looking. He's juiced. He's juiced. He's juiced. He's still looking. That was a good one.
That was good fish.
God, I thought he had it down, but God, that was a good fish.
That was a good fish.
While I pull over, do you want to take a streamer up there and run that one run through there?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. That cool with you, Kelly?
Yeah. Well, the frog works. We've had 2 really good fish. The second one we just calmed down from. It's like, it was freaking huge and exploded the thing. I don't know how I missed him. I mean, he's coming at me. We all saw his face. He was freaking huge. And Braden thought I broke him off. I think when we were tying this leader up this morning, I think Sawyer said it's probably 30 pound. I was pretty certain I didn't break him. It's a butt section is all it is. But this is a 6-weight?
Yep.
It's a 6-weight TNT, which is a phenomenal dry fly rod, but not necessarily the perfect mousing or frogging rod. I set the hook, man, I was sure we were in, but his face, Sawyer and I both looked down his gullet. I thought sure it's somebody. There's no way, I just didn't think it was possible I missed him. God, it was exciting. I'm still all jacked up. It was just, it was, I mean, everybody's like, ah! It was so loud.
It's been pretty quiet in the boat the past 10, 15 minutes just staring at the frog.
Yeah, then all of a sudden, boom, it was. And he didn't, God dang those things. That thing hit the water and it was, I think I twitched it twice and he was on it. Suddenly confidence is a little higher than it was 20 minutes ago. We've had 2 really good blow-ups on it. And then Braden went up and threw a streamer through the hole right where we had the big one. The second one was that would have made the A roll, I can assure you. It was somebody. But he went up and then he put a streamer through it, and we're watching pretty intently, and he got a nice rainbow. We saw that thing coming for about 6 feet, and I thought sure we had that giant again, but wasn't him. So if there was any lack of confidence in finishing out the day with the frog, it's completely disappeared at this point. We will be frogging all the way out today, and tomorrow's the last day. We're already talking about setting up a 7-weight with a bass line on it. So I think we'll be doing it again tomorrow. I didn't say that.
Yo. Hello. Remember.
3, 4, 5, 6. That fucking thing. Showed up. Yeah. 6 jumps. Gotta like that. Got a mouthful of love, doesn't he? Thank you. Too bad you don't have a white fly.
Pretty leopard bow. Thank you, sir. Well done.
Bingo. And then I slipped my line because I got the grip of a freaking 10-year-old. He was sitting right in front of me and he wouldn't do anything. So I gave it a twitch and he inhales it. And I went to set the hook and I had nothing. Nothing, I tell you. Yeah, it's a good one.
Decent
I mean,
fish.
he's not giant, but the fact that I have him is amazing because I slipped like 8 feet of line setting the hook. Well, I have no grip, so it doesn't matter. It's a beauty.
Good fish.
Boom.
He's got a weird, he got hit by something dark on the side. He's a pretty one. Whoa, anchor worked that time. There you go. Tail, 2 fingers under.
Yep. And then up at me. All right, you're good.
Whoa, is that me? Oh, sorry.
All right, Kelly. So it's kind of difficult casting in here with overhanging trees and stuff. And number one, you know, streamer fishing, streamer casting is difficult. But, you know, is there any insight on just kind of fitting it into those tight places? Anything you change on the timing of your cast and any angles or anything like that?
Yeah. Is this failed out of here? Are we done?
Yeah, I'd start hitting left.
Yeah, you got to tighten your tip so it goes. I like to pause further back and tighten. I generally like to throw a streamer with kind of a round tip like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's always the same setup. I go back, drift, and then just kind of lob forward.
Oh, that was real.
I felt it.
My heart was pounding. I saw a big flag.
There's a couple reasons you cast differently where you don't go like right tight like this, because you don't want a tight loop when you're throwing a 7-inch fly and a 250 grain head or whatever you're running. So generally I like to watch people go back, and I like them to drift quite a ways back. So traditionally there's the 10 thing. Actually it would just be 10 and 2 here. And so, but I like it to go forward. I like it to lob out a little bit because I like the fly to hit hard. I like it to make a splash. And I want it to open up the loop so it's not, you end up wearing them right in the shoulder or you wear it in the back of your head. And that ain't gonna fit your head too well, that fly. So I like the loop instead of going, first I like to go back and drift, and then I like the loop to go a little more round, which is a pain. As you saw earlier, I've hit a lot of trees. I'm just so used to doing it without tightening up the loop like that. So you have to push a little bit more and try to keep your tip straighter, right? And it's with a floating line, it's not as big a deal. But sinking lines obviously are tungsten, and they can be lead cores too, but they sink quicker. They're defying gravity faster than something lighter, obviously. And so when I get a space here down here, I'll do it again. And a lot of, I mean, like here today, there's a lot of tight both sides. You know, the back side, your back cast is, you can barely do it. And earlier, Braden, the camera guy, who's also our resident expert caster, no matter when we're filming or what we're doing, because he's very techie, that was a little guy. He's very techie on his casting and analyzing. And it's happened twice while I've been down here. And it's you're creeping, you're leaning for you're not pausing your back cast. And when you got a lot of structure like this, it's real easy to go back and then do that, right? Because you don't want to hit that tree. And so it has to straighten out, and you have to have the weight behind you, because if you rush it, obviously, if you go too quick, there's no power. That line has to be completely straight before you can go that way. If your line's tight, if it's straight out in front of you like that, it takes nothing to go that way, right? Unless you hit your rod tip. So if it's over here, all you got to do is pick your rod up. It'll go flying. And so I think it's in my fly line. Yeah. So as far as what I was saying is, the line's got to be tight. If the line's tight, it takes nothing to make that fly go, right? But when you got back cast problems, as far as and I did it, I've done it all morning. I mean, I've been sucking, but it's so easy to throw this. But if you rush it, nothing happens, right? If you go back and you go like this, you've taken all the power, because that has to be, which landed barely past Braden, right? Because you get ahead of it and it's just straightening the line out, right? Everybody knows that. Everybody knows you're supposed to go, let it. I like to drift with it a little longer. Instead of stopping at 2 o'clock, I stop at more like 3. So I go back. That just leaves my line a little bit more time to go. And then it just flies.
Hey, Braden the camera guy here. Just wanted to interrupt Kelly's casting lesson to point out something that I think is absolutely vital to success of casting streamers, dry flies, kind of just casting in general. And what it is you got to keep your hand close to your body. So that means keeping your upper arm kind of tight to your side. You can see here Kelly on both his forehand and his backhand casts keeps his hand in really tight. And this does 2 things. One, it forces you to bend the fly rod, forces you to use the fly rod to accelerate the fly and the line, as opposed to kind of throwing it like a football. And the second thing, which is kind of a byproduct of the first, is that it saves your elbow and your shoulder joints from getting tired throughout the day. I see a lot of folks, anywhere from beginner casters all the way up to some pretty darn good casters, which they put their hand up above their head when they cast. They straighten out their arm, it gets away from their body. I like to call that the Statue of Liberty. And it's still possible to make good casts while doing that, but it just wears out your shoulder and your elbow a lot faster than the other way around. You can see Kelly's motion here. It's really simple. There's not a lot of moving parts. It's really clean, and that's kind of what we strive for. Not only is it going to make you more accurate, but it's going to allow you to throw that big heavy streamer and sinking line, for 8 hours instead of 2 or something like that. Hope that helps you out.
But I really like to see people lob their cast a little bit. So go back, and then I like the tip to round. The problem is when you do, and the reason you do it is because then you're not going to wear it, right?
Right.
And I like the fly to plop down pretty hard. Now what that does, if you get lazy and do that, the fly's way up in the air. Now we're in this canopy, right? I'm not used to canopies. Are you, And so when you do that and the fly's up high, instead of pinpointing what was your question, instead of taking it in a skinny loop, it opens it up. So if you're gonna do like that, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can sidearm it and tuck it, and it really helps to, if you notice that I give it a little bit of a, since it straightens out, I haul it.
Yeah.
That's accelerating the line.
Right.
Or if you're gonna come over, you have to make that tip not round. And when I was teaching, we would say, like if this was all a blackboard, when you're doing dry fly, we'd say if you could pretend you were drawing a straight line on this blackboard that's invisible up here with your rod tip, that would give you that nice cone-shaped head that was really tight. But in streamer fishing, other than this, it really, to do that, one, you got a heavy line and a heavy fly. And so it's not so, well, you don't necessarily have a heavy fly, but you got your line. So when you do a tight loop like that, it just gets closer to you. But if you're going to, if you're gonna have to, like here, it really helps to do that little single haul right there to tighten it, speeds it up, and it gets it underneath. But I mean, I be the first to admit, when you're used to doing it the other way, it's hard to put it back. Like I don't know how many trees I've hit today, but more than I've missed, I'm sure. So I guess that's good. But it really helps to be able to get it low and give it the acceleration and doing what I like people do with that big open part. Not so good if you're trying to get underneath there. But you know, if you tighten it up, accelerate it, the faster, the little bit of that little tiny single haul. You don't necessarily have to double haul, because usually when you're in canopy, it's really tight.
Right.
So you don't have all that time to do your, you know, where you watch Braden. I mean, he's a superstar. You know, you're doing the big long hauls, you know, to get your line going so you can go a long distance. When you're in canopy, it's really short, and so it's kind of in micro, where you're really tight like that. And you're gonna expect, when you do a lot of short hauls like that, like right before we stopped, I had that knot in my line trying to demo it. You're gonna do that because you're gonna collapse it. It's a tailing loop, but you got a heavy fly, it kicks around, so you just gotta pay attention to it. But mostly the biggest thing is simply, you know, get your line back and tighten your loop. It's more wristy than it is open like I like to cast, you know, where I kind of do this, I slip a little and I do a haul. It's a big fly, I'm just trying to carry it. It's gonna get a little bit less than that, so you're going to still want a little haul, but you tighten that loop up. Don't get your line caught around your rod. Tighten your line, and then a single haul like that. And right there, I did it, screwed it up, and I caught my line because I over accelerated it. Just gotta get used to it. I don't care who it is, it's tough to get underneath this stuff, and you're gonna have, with a fly that size, it's gonna work you. I mean, you get back there, and if everything isn't perfect, this fly comes back, and it's tight, and it's heavy, and it hits the end, and it's gonna bounce down. Now, it's gonna start following where it was. It's gonna tailing loop up. You should probably still make it underneath there, but it ain't as easy as a dry fly for sure. Make sense?
Makes sense.
So Sawyer, pretty epic day.
Fun day, man.
Didn't hang any giants, but if the frog eat wasn't worth the whole day, I mean, I'd do the whole freaking day for that.
Absolutely.
I truly would, but
Yeah, that made my day.
the last fish that I totally joned it was kind of ugly, but it was still fun because Braden didn't catch it. It was like, other than throwing dry flies, but we pretty much rounded out a pretty incredible day.
Yeah, overall, fairly solid, decent fish.
Yeah.
You know, moved a really good one on the frog. You know,
Yes,
that's
the frog
exciting.
was that'll be done again tomorrow if I can cast. I apologize for wimping out on the hand thing, but how about with the one that I missed and tried to grab with the line and set the line? For those of you who don't know, I have a sore paw, and so I have the grip of an angry 12-year-old girl right now. And the last fish, when I set the line, went like this, everything came out of my hand, and I'm sitting there like that. It was pretty embarrassing. So, but man, what a blast we had. We did everything. We frogged for an hour, and we got one really good one to come up and one giant. Just, I missed them both. I suck. But
We saw him.
we saw them. It was like full on coming right at us to eat. Excuse me. Yeah, that thing just came a running. Geez, giant head. And I thought he'd closed in on it and kind of farmed it, missed him, but it was worth just seeing him. And the river, a lot like, you know, a lot of trees. It was a blast. It was an absolute gas. And then finish it off with those two big ones at the end. What a blast. So, hope we got you some information there. Secret River, too cool to talk about, but we are in Chile, so there probably won't be a lot of people running down to find it. But if anybody wants to come back, we're at 11's angling. We got one more day. Just been an absolute gas, just a blast. Sawyer guides down here, and then he goes to what's your lodge in Alaska?
In the outpost on the Noosh, on the upper Nooshagak.
Ah, cool. So we're gonna try to get him to come work for me, but probably won't happen. So
We'll see.
And so, at any rate, we had a lot of really cool stuff today, a lot of fun stuff. Hope you liked it. Hope it helps you out.